When you grow older. What to do when your grown children start criticizing you. When people get older, the hardest thing isn't always poverty or aches and pains. It's not the arthritis, the cholesterol checks, or the creaks in the knees. The hardest moment can come like a quiet, unexpected storm. The day you realize that the child you once held by the hand, the one you nursed through the night with fever, has grown impatient with you, or even begun to scold you. Your words, once welcomed, are now dismissed as nagging. Your suggestions, once respected, are answered back with sharpness. Your phone calls, once eagerly returned, now go unanswered. You stretch out your hand to help, and you're told, don't mess things up. It can feel like frost creeping into a warm room. The very people you poured your life into become cool and distant. You want to speak, but you're afraid of ruining the mood. You want to cry, but you bury your face in the pillow and swallow the tears. And yet, growing older doesn't mean you must silently endure everything. It's time to learn to protect yourself. When your children's attitudes shift, you can quietly prepare yourself in 3 important ways. 1. Let go of the old fantasy. Accept you're not the center of their world anymore. For many parents, the deepest wound isn't physical, it's the psychological gap between what you once were to your children and what you are now. When you were younger, you were the heartbeat of the home. They turned to you for everything. You cooked, cleaned, bandaged, scraped knees, drove them to Little League, reminded them to eat their vegetables. You were the soul of the household. But slowly, life changes. They graduate. They marry. They move to another city or state. They have children of their own. The bills pile up. The work demands never end. They're not circling around you anymore, not because they've turned bad, but because they're overwhelmed. You're no longer the center of their life. Sometimes the generational gap becomes the flashpoint. You like to put on the radio in the morning to listen to gospel music or a favorite old crooner, Frank Sinatra? Maybe, but they think it's noise. You still go to the farmer's market to pick the freshest tomatoes, while they tap on their phones for grocery delivery. The more you try to instruct, the more they see you as stubborn or old school. It's not worth a family feud. Instead of arguing, try measured silence. Silence isn't weakness, it's clarity. When you don't answer back, it's not because you're wrong, but because you're done trading your warmth for coldness. If they don't like your cooking, you can quietly make a smaller portion for yourself. If your tastes differ, you don't have to make it a war. Sometimes a little self-adjustment brings more peace to the home. Remember this hard truth. Parents' love for children lasts a lifetime. But children's closeness to parents often comes in phases. It's cruel to face, but the sooner you accept it, the fewer tears you'll shed. Stop imagining that you'll always be their one and only. Your worth isn't measured by their attention. Your life can't be defined by their attitude. 2. Guard your dignity. It matters more than keeping up appearances. The softest spot for older adults isn't lack of money. It's fear of being a burden, of being resented. One unkind word from a child can pierce your heart like a needle. You may cry and swallow it, but never forget, you're not begging for their emotional charity. You have your own dignity. If their tone turns sharp, you don't need to explode, but you do need boundaries. Be kind but not servile. Warm but not self-effacing. Love them, but don't lower yourself. Do as much as you can on your own, so you keep both your love and your self-respect. Children may sometimes be immature, but you mustn't lose your bottom line. When criticism replaces communication, when resentment greets your goodwill, the answer isn't pleading, it's quiet distance. Shift your focus. Don't let them become the center of your emotional weather. You can step back without being cold. You can yield without losing principle. You've already given your life to this family. In your later years, you shouldn't have to trade your dignity for a sliver of warmth. 3. Make yourself optional. Independence is the true strength of old age. Let's be blunt. In today's world, it's hard for adult children to be there constantly. They're juggling jobs, mortgages, kids' college tuition. Many of them are barely breathing under their own load. Some parents believe they can't live without their children nearby. In reality, community centers, book clubs, Tai Chi classes, church choirs, senior travel groups, all these can give you belonging and joy. When you have your own circle, your children feel relief and respect you more. So focus on what you can control. Keep your finances in your own name. Don't hand over your savings. That's your last safety net. Keep your emotions steady. Don't cling. Keep your body moving. Don't become a burden. With that inner strength, even if your children are occasionally distant, you can still live with ease. If you manage your life, they'll hesitate before speaking harshly. One American grandmother once told me, "I used to hover over my kids, reminding them about everything: meals, bills, jackets in winter. But the more I reminded, the more annoyed they became. When I finally stepped back, something funny happened. They started calling me more." Family closeness isn't about clinging. It's about giving space. The less you worry them, the more they cherish you. The more you demand, the more they retreat. This isn't lack of love. It's human nature. The greatest confidence in old age is this: I can live well without leaning on you. Let your children know, I'm not avoiding you because I don't need you. I'm giving you space and respecting your life. I also have my own. Your later years should be built on self-worth, not on begging for company. That's how you earn respect. A real story. I'm 73, and I finally woke up. Take Margaret, a 73-year-old widow from Ohio. She raised 2 children alone after her husband died in a factory accident when she was 35. She refused to remarry for fear a stepfather might mistreat her kids. She worked steadily, paid off her house, and watched both children grow into professionals, her son a math teacher, her daughter a bank officer. For years she lived alone, filling her days with senior classes, calligraphy on Mondays and Wednesdays, piano on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On weekends, the kids visited with their families. Life was simple but sweet. Then one icy morning she slipped on the sidewalk and broke her tailbone. She couldn't get up. She called her son, who rushed her to the hospital. Surgery, then 3 months of bed rest. Her children offered to hire a home aide at their own expense. Margaret refused. "I have kids. I don't need strangers," she insisted. They reluctantly took turns caring for her after work, preparing meals, managing her medications. 6 months later, she'd gained weight from all the pampering. Neighbors envied her lucky children. But Margaret noticed her sons' and daughters' hair turning gray. "You're only in your 50s, she said. "How can your hair be whiter than mine?" "They're exhausted," the doctor told her friend in the nursing home. "Years of stress have worn them down." Her friend wept. Her own son had developed cancer after years of caring for her daily. That was Margaret's wake-up call. She realized she'd been clinging to her children at the cost of their health. She called them in, apologized with tears, and announced she would move into the same assisted living home as her friend. "Your lives matter more than my preferences," she said. Now she lives there happily. She still sees her children every week, but without the weight of guilt. "I almost ruined them," she says quietly. "I'm so glad I realized in time." Another story. "I'm 58 with only $450 a month. My son refuses to work." Then there's Elaine, a 58-year-old retiree in Florida, living on $450 a month in Social Security. Her 35-year-old son, divorced and living with her, lost his job. Her check barely covers food, utilities, and the child support she insists on sending for her granddaughter. She worries about her son's unpaid Social Security credits. Without contributions, he'll have little retirement of his own. But he sleeps late, plays video games, and shrugs off her pleas. "I'm looking online," he claims, but months go by. When she suggests delivering groceries or driving for rideshare, he says, "I'd rather starve than be seen doing that." She's furious and heartbroken. "My brother and his wife support their adult son. They even pay his Social Security. But I can't. I'm alone." Elaine's story is a warning. If you don't keep some independence, you can't help your children either. In the end, she had to draw a line. "If you won't work, you won't eat here," she said. It was painful but necessary. Closing thoughts. When you grow older and your children start speaking harshly, please don't take it too personally. Don't shrink or feel humiliated. They're no longer the little ones hiding in your lap. And you're no longer the star of their world. Your task now is to see the shift clearly, adjust your expectations, guard your dignity, and learn to live independently. Reduce your emotional reliance on them. Live the second half of your life with grace and self-respect. Then, even if they're occasionally distant, you'll remain steady, your heart unbroken. True happiness in old age is not depending on anyone yet living richly. May your later years be free of bitterness, full of self-worth, and filled with your own light. If you found this article meaningful, give it a like or share your thoughts below. Thank you for reading. Life's truths are simple to say, but hard to live. Yet stories like Margaret's and Elaine's can help us see the road ahead and walk it with wisdom.